Hello everyone, welcome to this new video, problem of the day part 5. So again I have come with a very good problem. I would say this problem really makes you people think into deeper roots of the so-called differential calculus. So in the differential calculus there's a main segment. There's where we start studying this, that is functions. So I've taken such a question where you just post-mortem each and everything and get an idea of how to plot that function on a graph. I would say accurately to 90% we can draw that, and 100% no one can draw it because we have no idea for what value, for what decimal value of x you get the decimal value of y. We have no idea for that. So basically we can draw a graph which is similar to it, 90% similar to it. Just we don't know the plot, like exact plot, but we can draw that graph. So how can we draw that graph and all that, I'll be explaining that in the wizard concepts of mathematics. But in this problem series we'll be only discussing very good problem and its solution, basically. That's it, so nothing else. So coming to the problem, this is the problem that I've taken today. So it has been given us that the function f of x is x power 1 by 3 into x minus 1. So it has been asked to us whether it has two inflection points. Is that statement right or not? And is strictly increasing for x greater than 1 by 4 and strictly decreasing for x less than 1 by 4. This is what it has been asked to us. And is concave down in minus 1 by 2 comma 0, and area enclosed by the curve lying in the fourth quadrant is 9 by 28. These are the four statements it has been given to us in the question, and we need to think like whether it's true or false. We need to give a clarity for that. So just coming to the solution. So first thing, I'll be writing the function here. The function is f of x is equal to x power 1 by 3 into x minus 1. So in differential calculus, whenever these type of questions is strictly increasing, strictly decreasing, concave down, and all these properties that I'll be explaining in wizard concept of mathematics. But what is necessary for now, that's what I'm gonna just apply them. I don't teach them because it's not this playlist. This is not the playlist where you learn all of those things. This is the playlist where the videos here you see and you know like what to apply. So it's basically applying all the things that we have learned in a problem. That's what the main playlist refers to, because I'm not teaching this for some sort of examination and all. This is only for applying the concepts that we know and enjoying the solving of math problem. That's the only main motto of this channel. So f of x is x power 1 by 3 into x minus 1. So firstly I will differentiate it, okay, because it has been given to us strictly increasing or strictly decreasing. We need to know only after the differentiation, isn't it? So f dash of x is what I'm gonna find now. So f dash of x comes out to be 1 by 3 x power 2 by 3 into 4x minus 1. This is the f of x, f dash of x that we get, okay. So on this, like on regards of f dash of x, I can tell that whether this graph is increasing or decreasing or something like that. So basically I have to I got to know 2 points from here. Here if I put x is equal to 0, okay, if I put x is equal to 0, I get this to be not defined. So it's basically a vertical tangent, isn't it? So it's basically a vertical tangent, because we know that if dy by dx is equal to 0, then it is an horizontal tangent, and if dy by dx is equal to infinity, or you may say not defined, okay, then it comes out to be vertical tangent. So here when I put x is equal to 0, I'm finding this to be non-defined, or you may say infinity. So it is a vertical tangent basically. So when I plot the graph, I need to make sure at x is equal to 0, I plot in such a way that I can have a vertical tangent at that point, okay. And other thing is this one, okay, at this point, at this point, this is 0 at x is equal to 1 by 4, isn't it? This is 0 at x is equal to 1 by 4. So now I need to get clarity. If f dash of x is 0, then we have two possibilities. Either it can be maxima, or it can be minima, isn't it? Either of these two possibilities we have, but I need to make sure what is that point. Is that a maxima point or is that a minima point? Because at only one instance we are getting this f dash of x to be 0, and the rest of we don't get any other value of x where we find f dash of x to be 0. That means it will be the global maxima or global minima. Okay, whatever be the maxima or minima, it will be the global one. That means it's the only thing that will be possible place where the function will take the minimum value or maximum value. Okay, so rest of the thing, it will be the different ones, like there's no other maxima or minima possible for this f of x. So for that we need to find whether it's maxima or minima. So that first let me write the f dash of x in this space. So f dash of x is nothing but 1 by 3x power 2 by 3 into 4x minus 1. So if I just put some values like if I plot this, basically if I plot this, I don't even need to plot this one. Yeah, I don't even need to plot this one. I'll just do it in a practical way. So 4x minus 1 is 0 at x is equal to 1 by 4. You people can take f dash of x, like f double dash of x, and put the value and then check for it. And from there you can even conclude that whether it's local maxima or like global maxima or global minima. But I'll be doing it in a somewhat different way. See here, when I put x is equal to 1 by 4, I'm getting 0. So when I put x is equal to half, okay, when I put x is equal to half, I get 4 into half minus 1, which is 2 minus 1, which is 1. So basically at x is equal to half, I'm getting this to be, yeah, I'm getting this to be, yeah, let me check whether I've written it right. Yeah, 4x minus 1. And when I keep x is equal to half is 1 by 4 greater than 1 by 4. So when I keep any value less than 1 by 4, so assume that to be some 1 by 6. Okay, assume that to be 1 by 6. I get 4 into 1 by 6, which is equal to 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 minus 1 is minus 1 by 3, which is a negative value. So if I have only for this function, where only for 4x minus 1, if I plot it, okay, for 4x minus 1, because for 4x minus 1, that's only thing that I wanted to plot, because 1 by 3x power 2 by 3 is definitely not gonna affect you, because I'm taking all the positive values, so it will definitely be positive. I only need to check for this. So if I plot that only for 4x minus 1, at x is equal to 1 by 4, it's 0. Okay, at x is equal to 1 by 4, it's 0. And x is equal to 1 by 2, so it's somewhat here 1 by 2. Okay, at x is equal to 1 by 2, it's getting some value to be 1. So I'll just plot that 1 here. And x is equal to 1 by 6. Yeah, 1 by 6 somewhat here. And I'm getting some value minus 1 by 3. So I can plot the graph in this way, isn't it? So 1 by 6 minus 1 by 3 and minus 4 to 0, and from here to here I'm getting in this way, isn't it? And we have got to know that this is this is the global one, isn't it? At x is equal to 1 by 4, we're gonna get the global thing, like either it would be a maxima, it would be minima. But when you check here, you're getting to that 1 by 2. At when you put 1 by 2, you're getting this value to be positive, that is 1. And when you putting 1 by 6, which is less than 1 by 4, you're getting a negative value. So basically the graph would be the actual graph of f of x. Okay, the actual graph of f of x would be in this way. In this way it would have been the actual graph of the f of x. I'm not talking about f dash of x, I'm talking about f of x, because this is where we are getting the local I would say the global minima at 1 by 4, and some other point we are getting some values. Okay, at some other point, like at x is equal to 1 by 6. Okay, at x is equal to 1 by 6, I would say 1 by 6, I'm getting a negative value, isn't it? I'm getting a negative value, so it would be somewhere here. Okay, 1 by 6 would be somewhere here, and the negative value is here. And at x is equal to 1 by 4, we are getting the value of f of x. Let us put the value of we'll find the f of 1 by 4. Okay, let us find the value of f of 1 by 4. We are getting 1 by 4, yeah, 1 by 4 into 1 by 3, isn't it? 1 by 4 into 1 by 3 into 1 by 4 whole power 1 by 3 into 1 by 4 minus 1, which is equal to minus 3 by 4, isn't it? This is what we're gonna get. But this value, okay, this value is like if I compare this with the value of f of 1 by 2 as well as f of 1 by 6, I get this to be f of 1 by 6 is greater than f of 1 by 4 and f of 1 by 4 is less than f of 1 by 2. So when you put the values of 1 by 4, 1 by 6 and 1 by 2, or even if you can take 0, okay, you can just put 0 here in the f of x thing. I'll just show it in the next page. Yeah. If I put f of 0, I'm getting that to be 0. And if I put f of 1, if I take f of 1, it will be very easier for me. 1 into 1 by power, it's basically f of 1 is again 0. Okay, so that means if I plot the f of x graph, I'm getting this to be 0 at 0. At even 1 is also I'm getting 0. So what would be the possibility for this? The only possibility it would be in this way, because if you draw it in this way, isn't it? If you draw it in this way, you can check for 1 by 4. If you put f of 1 by 4, you're getting a negative value, isn't it? You're getting a negative value, and negative value cannot be plotted here. It can only be plotted here, isn't it? So the only possibility of this graph would be in this way. So this is the way we can assume the graph to be. So this is the like we have got a clarity that this 1 by 4 would be the point of 1 by 4 would be the point of local minima, global minima. Okay, one point of 1 by 4 is global minima. So that is what we come to the conclusion. So I can draw the graph in the accurate way. I have not done the total graph, only 2 points that I've got to know. That is yeah, let me draw the graph first. Yeah, only 2 points I got to know. The vertical tangent will be getting at x is equal to 0, and we have a local minimum at x is equal to 1 by 4. So let me plot that. X is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1 by 4 and x is 1, and this is how we can draw the graph basically. So at x is equal to 0 we have the vertical tangent, so I need to make sure that it would be in this way. Okay, and at x is equal to 1 by 4 we have the local minima, so it is the point we are getting a inflection basically, and then we have this to be passing in this way. So we have no we don't need to bother about this part. We only need to find where it's local maxima, local minima, global maxima or global minima. Please don't mind, because in our case the local maxima, local minima, global maxima, global minima is same, because global minima and global local minima are both 1 by 4. At x is equal to 1 by 4 we are getting it, and global maxima, local maxima are in at x is equal to infinity, we're gonna get them. Okay, so this is the point, and this is the vertical tangent. So approximately we are gonna get a vertical tangent in this way. Okay, this is the graph basically. This is the graph, vertical tangent we are able to find here. And now I need to make sure there's no other inflection point. Actually in the question there have been asked us like there are 2 inflection points, but we have got one inflection point to be this. At x is equal to 1 by 4 we got an inflection point. So I need to check whether we have another inflection point or not. For that you need to check for d square y by dx square. Okay, so you need to check for d square y by dx square, and that comes out to be 2 by 9 into x power 2 by 3 into 2x plus 1 by x. Okay, this is the d square y by dx square. So if you think practically, d square y by dx square is nothing but it's d by dx of dy by dx, isn't it? So it's basically nothing but d by dx of dy by dx. It means that change of the rate of change of tangent, where you in physics you say that s is distance or displacement, or v is the change of displacement, that is ds by dt, and acceleration is change of velocity, which is d by dt of ds by dt, isn't it? So it's basically the rate of change of distance. Okay, so it's here the same thing. It's basically rate of change of tangent. So how fast is our tangent changing is that we need to find for d. That's the basic meaning of d square by dx square. So this, and if I talk about this, this comes out to be 0 at only x is equal to minus half, isn't it? This whole part comes out to be 0 at only x is equal to minus half. So at x is equal to minus half, again I can come to a conclusion that there will be a the inflection point. There will be an inflection point, that means the change. Okay, so how does it change? Basically d square y by dx square represents that it is 0, isn't it? So the rate of change of tangent became 0 at x is equal to minus 1 by 2. So you can assume that the graph to be in this way. Okay, you can assume that graph can be in this way. So in the infinity point we have like in this way, let me, yeah, in this way the graph would be at x is equal to 1 by 2. I'm gonna get it in this way. Okay, so basically this is x is equal to 1 by 2, at x is equal to 1 by 2, yeah, at x is equal to minus 1 by 2, we are able to find some sort of inflection point here, isn't it? Some sort of inflection point we are able to find. So I would write it in this way, I would mention it in this way. This is the point where we are getting an inflection. Basically it's not changing, it's 0. D square pi by dx square is 0. That means that it's not completely changed, only the rate of change has been like it has been in here. If you check it here, if you check it, it's concave, here it's concave down, it's concave up. That's the main logic there. There's nothing else that you will need to like we are not changing it in this way, right? We are not changing it in this way because it's not the point we are getting dy by dx is equal to 0. We are only getting dy by dx to be 0 only at x is equal to 1 by 4. So we need to change the graph it in this way. But here we are getting d square y by dx square to be 0. That means the rate of change becomes 0. That means the rate of change, like here it has been from here it has been, if you see the tangent, if you see the tangent here, if you see the tangent, it is a tangent with negative slope, isn't it? Because the theta here is obtuse, so it is a tangent with negative slope. Again when you form the tangent here, once again it is coming to that angle is obtuse. Once again the what do you say, the slope is negative. So that means the basically it's where the point where we are having the change to be 0, but we are getting d square y by dx square to be 0. Okay, the change is we are not able to find any change here. Okay, the slope is always the negative part itself, but at this point, at this moment, we are able to find some horizontal things. At this point I would this point we are able to find the horizontal thing, because that's the point where we are getting d square y by dx square is equal to 0, because the change at once the tangent with negative slope became horizontal, again it became the negative one. Okay, so we are not able to find the real change. It is negative here itself, then slope is negative here also, the slope is negative here also. But the thing is, at once we have got the tangent to be straight. That means it's not strictly increasing or strictly decreasing. We have just found that to be decreasing. That's it. So that's the point where you need to make a note of d square y by dx square. That's the point you made to understand the concept of d square y by dx square. So we find an inflection point here also. So we find it totally, we have found this one as an inflection point and this one as an inflection point. So there are totally two inflection points. Okay, I hope you all understood this concept. This is the picture clarity of d square y by dx square. D square y by dx square is equal to 0 doesn't mean that we are changing the graph in this way. Okay, we don't change the graph in this way, we change the graph only for dy by dx. But here the rate of change has been decreased to 0, because once you see it is a negative tangent, it becomes 0, the slope becomes 0, and once again it became negative. That means there's a change in the what you say, there's only a change to negative to 0, but there's not an actual change. Okay, so that's the point where we get the d square y by dx square to be 0. And also you can see that, you can even also infer that why can't our graph can be in this way and again in this way. Okay, you can even have that what do you say, that doubt, so that you can even check it. Okay, because we have not found any global maxima or global minima. Once you draw a tangent at any point, at this point take a suitable point, and if you check it, if you check the slope, you'll be getting that to be negative. Okay, you'll be getting that to be negative. If that's a negative, that means the slope would be, the curve would be in this manner itself. If it's a positive curve, it would have been the tangent would be in the different way, but it's a point negative tangent. When you draw it, you'll be able to understand that. So this is the concept. So first, if going to the question, the function has two inflection points. Yeah, it's right. It's strictly increasing for x is greater than 1 by 4. Yeah, because we have found that 1 by 4 is the point of global minima. So for x is equal to greater than 1 by 4, we'll be finding that to be increasing and strictly decreasing from x is less than 1 by 4, isn't it? When you see the graph, it goes on decreasing. The graph goes on decreasing till x is equal to 1 by 4, and then it increases. So this is also right. Yeah. So this is also right. And is concave down is minus 1 by 2 comma 0. Yeah, it's concave down. When you see this, it's concave down. This is what you known as concave down. The palm, if you take the palm of your hand in this way, the the wrist shows you the concavity. Okay, so basically this is concave down and this is concave up. So when you see from minus 1 by 2 comma 0, that's d square y by dx square comes out to be 0. That's the reason we have got that to be a concave down. That's the reason where we are changing the concavity like up to down. There is a change of concavity from up to down, because there's the point like that is the point where we have found that d square y by dx square to be 0. Okay, and coming to the C is also right. And coming to the fourth option, that's area enclosed by the curve lying in the fourth quadrant is 9 by 28. So let's check that. So fourth quadrant, fourth quadrant means this is the fourth quadrant, right? This is the fourth quadrant. So this is the area that we need to find, this area. Okay, so we know that this point is 1 by 4 and this point is 0. So I just need to integrate my curve from 0 to 1 by 4. So let's do that. So if I do that, so it's basically integration of 0 to 1 x power 4 by 3, x power 4 by 3 minus x power 1 by 3 whole dx. Okay, this is what integration is. And if you just put the values and solve, because it's an easy integration, and remember we need to put a mod because it's an area, so it comes out to be 9 by 28. Okay, so this is the answer. So I hope you all understood the major concept here, like the plotting of graph, which is very very important, like why the purpose of checking of d square y by dx square. So where we find that concavity changes, it's not the point where we have changed the whole nature of the graph. No, it's the point where we have the concavity to be changed. And also very very important thing of concept of inflection point, and taking f dash of x and f double dash of x. And checking the last thing, it's very easy, the area enclosed. It's all about area under the curves, where you integrate between the limits, when you integrate the curve between the limits to find the area. So it's a very very super duper question where you got all the concepts to be mixed. So it's a very good question of functions. I hope you all understood. So I'll be coming up in the new video of this problem of the part series, or problem of the day series, with an exciting problem. So most of the things in this playlist I'll be covering only of differential calculus and algebra, because that's, and at times I'll be covering the 3D and coordinate also. Trigonometry I don't touch it more, because the part where we enjoy math solving is more on these topics rather than trigonometry and other things. We find to like solve math mostly in these type of things. So that's the reason we love maths, especially in these regions. So that's the reason I'm posting videos on only these things. So if you do want on trigonometry, you can just comment or like the materials that you wanted me to solve. I'll just solve those problems. Okay, then thank you for watching. Stay tuned.